You're just an ordinary welder, but a client asked you to build a 5-meter-tall mech in 2 days for his grandfather's birthday. Actually, he only wanted a 50-centimeter model. He accidentally added an extra 0. Not knowing the truth, you think you have to make a 5-meter Gundam mech in just 2 days, which is insane. You wanted to turn down the job, but the pay was too good. So you worked overtime, 2 days and nights without sleep, finishing a mech the night before the banquet. You wrapped the whole mech in red cloth and loaded it onto a truck. Out of a sense of responsibility to your client, you don't want anyone to see the birthday gift before it reaches its destination. So you drive the heavy truck, hauling the wrapped mech out of the warehouse gates. An hour later, you arrive at Yunding Manor. This is Wang Tianhao's estate. A heavy truck enters the manor. You park the mech. The task is finally complete. You need to go back, put your phone on silent, and get a good night's sleep. Early next morning, the manor buzzes with activity. Luxury cars drive into Yunding as business tycoons from Shanghai arrive. Guests with children are playing around the manor. They notice the huge object wrapped in red cloth in front of the villa. Assuming it's a birthday gift from the old man's sons, no one dares to touch it. At noon, 3 military vehicles arrive. Vehicles stopped in an open area. Soldiers exited, armed and alert, guarding. An elderly man stepped out of the armored vehicle, walking toward the villa. Haha, old Wang, why are you late to your own birthday? Did you lose track of time working on research? Hearing this familiar voice, old Wang's cloudy eyes lit up. He replied, "Old man, what are you doing here?" Another elderly man walked out of the villa. The 2 old acquaintances started chatting. Guests recognized Old Hua and became respectful, both giants in science, truly admirable. With significant achievements in mechanical intelligence in Xia country, they were national treasures. Old Wang and Old Hua walked into the banquet hall, already filled with guests. Their minds were not on the celebration. Old Wang, actually I came over to discuss something with you in person. We need to speed up the development of our exoskeleton armor. As soon as Old Hua finished speaking, Old Wang hurriedly asked, "What's wrong, Old Hua? Did you hear something?" Old Hua glanced around, lowered his voice, and said, "Old Wang, I got word last night that the Northern Theater is also working on exoskeleton armor, and they've already entered the testing phase." That fast? How are the results for functionality and strength tests? Old Hua replied firmly, "Very strong." Old Wang immediately frowned. We're still in the first stage of development, and the research results will directly determine everything. The next round of resource support and funding priorities. If the Northern Theater takes the lead, where would that leave his reputation? Just then, a petite girl, 18, walked quickly toward Old Wang. "Grandpa, the birthday banquet is about to start. Everyone's here except for second uncle and sister Xue." The girl smiled and took out a gift box. "This is my present for Grandpa." Old Wang accepted the gift box with a broad smile, his gaze toward Wang Ning kind. "This is an exoskeleton armor model." Wang Ning lifted her chin and said with proud expression. At the mention of exoskeleton armor, both elders' eyes flashed with gold. When developing nuclear submarines, they verified ideas using nuclear submarine model. The unremarkable model played significant role. This exoskeleton armor model inspired them. Old Wang opened Wang Ning's gift, exquisitely made, every joint and structure designed. The chatterbox could tell it was extraordinary. This model from the American military. "Xiao Ning, you gave Grandpa a wonderful gift." Old Wang laughed and pinched Wang Ning's nose. "Grandpa, as long as you like it." Hearing her grandpa's praise, the pride on Wang Ning's face grew stronger. She took out her phone, snapped photos of the model. She forwarded them to Wang Yixue. Wang Yixue smiled. Wang Ning was her eldest uncle's daughter. She was only 2 months younger than him, and since they were kids, she always had to compete with him in everything, whether it was school exams, piano competitions, or even comparing their outfits. But Wang Ning had never won. Now, she was messaging to show off the gift she gave Grandpa and how pleased she was with it, competing even over birthday presents. Wang Yixue didn't mind and just laughed it off. What she was really worried about was whether the 50-centimeter mecha model she'd commissioned had been delivered to the manor. Her messages and calls had gone unanswered. About 10 minutes later, Wang Tianhao and his daughter Wang Yixue finally arrived just before the birthday banquet began. "Dad, I wish you happiness as boundless as the East Sea and a long life like the immortal pines of the southern mountain," Wang Tianhao said, presenting a 200-year-old bottle of Chanbai mountain wine he'd spent a small fortune to acquire. "I'm single, what do I need this for? Just like your older brother, always wasting money." Old Wang grumbled, but he wasn't truly upset. After all, it was still a sign of filial piety from his second son. "Xiao Yixue, it hasn't been that long since I last saw you, and just like Xiao Ning, you've already grown into a graceful young lady." Aside from his scientific work, Old Wang cared most about his 2 granddaughters. Seeing Wang Yixue, a smile appeared on his face. Wang Tianhao, standing beside him, laughed and said, "Dad, do you still think she's just a little kid who needs milk?" Hearing this, the relatives and guests around burst into laughter. "Ishue, you've prepared a gift for Grandpa too, right? Stop being so mysterious. Just take it out already." Wang Ning poked his head out from the crowd and asked with a smile, though his tone carried a hint of competitiveness. Old Wang's eyes lit up and he chimed in, "Ishue, your dad said you prepared a great gift for Grandpa. Hurry and show us." "Grandpa, please wait a moment. Right now, I don't even know where the gift is." Wang Yishue's expression turned a bit awkward, her brows furrowed with anxiety. She kept her head down, frantically tapping on her phone, sending message after message. "Master Mao, where are you? Why hasn't the mecha order been delivered yet? I trusted you. How could you lie to me? If you see this message, please call me back." Wang Tianhao noticed his beloved daughter's troubled expression, frowned, and asked, "Ishue, did that Master Mao scam you?" Wang Ishue was so anxious. "Sister Ishue, where's your gift?" Wang Ning ran up and grabbed Wang Ishue's arm. At this moment, Wang Ishue's eyes filled with tears. Getting scammed by someone, how are you supposed to talk about that? Just saying it out loud is social suicide. Only now did Wang Ning realize that Wang Ishue really hadn't brought a gift, and she was secretly overjoyed. Ever since they were kids, Wang Ishue's grades, music, art, math competitions, everything about her was always so dazzling, and today she finally lost to her for once. Wang Ning struggled to hold back her urge to laugh, and pretended to show concern, saying, "Sister Ishue, did you lose your gift? Don't worry, my 10cm exoskeleton armor model can count as a gift from both of us. Grandpa really likes it." Wang Ning's words made Wang Ishue feel worse. She prepared a 50cm mecha model Grandpa would have liked. But now, she could only explain she'd been scammed. "I also prepared a gift." Before she finished, her phone beeped, interrupting her. A call came in. Seeing the number, she thought, are scammers really this brazen? Wang Ishue answered, fuming, to hear an exasperated voice. "Miss Wang, how did I scam you? I delivered the goods last night. They're parked right on the open ground outside the villa. A 500cm tall mecha, something that huge. Did you really not see it, or are you just pretending? I'm telling you, I've called you more than 20 times this morning. You're really something." Wang Ishue was stunned when she heard this, her mind struggling to keep up. She was the one about to lose her temper, so how did things get flipped around? And what's this about 500cm? She quickly switched to the chat window and only then realized that when she placed the custom order the day before yesterday, she'd made a mistake and added an extra 0. The mecha 50cm tall was 500cm. That massive thing outside the villa in red cloth was the custom mecha she ordered. Wang Ishue gasped in shock. "Master Mao, don't get worked up. Let's think this through." Wang Yishue's frustration vanished, her tone polite. I won't refund your money, and you must pay me the remaining balance. Otherwise, I'll call you daily to harass you, and I'll get a lawyer to sue you. I won't let you off." Wang Yishue was cut off, the voice anxious. No, Master Mao, I'm not going to stiff you. I'll transfer the remaining payment to you as soon as I finish up here. That's only fair. There's a special phone for waking up the mecha and tracking its data. I've already sent it to you." After hearing the call end, Wang Ishue felt a bit dazed. Looks like she'd wrongly blamed Master Mao. But this 5-meter tall mecha was finished in less than 2 days. Could it really be that impressive? At this point, Wang Ishue wasn't holding out much hope. Even though the call wasn't on speaker, everyone around could more or less guess what was going on. Wang Ning glanced out the window. He thought, something this big must be shoddily made, just a pile of scrap metal welded to look right. It couldn't compare to the 10cm detailed model. His eyes flickered and he smiled. "Sister Ishue, the gift you have is pretty good too. Let's go take a look first." Wang Ishue asked Grandpa Wang, "Would you like to see it now?" He didn't want to embarrass himself. That would still be better than embarrassing himself in front of 100 guests. Someone said, "Let's go take a look." Wang Ning quickly chimed in, "All right, let's go see it then." Old Master Wang laughed and led everyone outside the villa. Wang Ishue trailed at the back, imagining the looks on everyone's faces. Standing at the foot of the mech, wrapped in red cloth, Wang Ishue wished she could disappear. Old Master Wang, Old Master Hua, and relatives and guests gathered, guessing what was hidden under the red cloth. "Sister Ishue, what are you standing? Hurry and pull off the cloth." Wang Ning couldn't wait Wang Ishue embarrassed herself. Old Master Wang noticed his granddaughter seemed worried and comforted her. "Ishue, Grandpa will like it. Unveil it. Ishue, hurry and show." The guests urged her, leaving Wang Ishue no way. She took a deep breath and steeled herself. Grabbing one corner of the red cloth, she yanked it hard. In an instant, the cloth slid off, revealing a red mech with a cold metallic sheen, standing imposingly before everyone. Its overwhelming presence seemed to dominate the entire space, making countless people hold their breath. The domineering, cool design, the metallic red glow in its eyes, and the massive railgun mounted on its shoulder, this scene stunned everyone, as a wave of intense shock surged up from the soles of their feet. The shock shot to their heads, making their scalps tingle. Wang Ning suddenly shuddered, his pupils trembling wildly, his eyes filled with disbelief. Wang Ning collapsed to the ground. Everyone crowded around, looking up at the crimson mech. Many had stars in their eyes as they gazed at the mech, and even the older ones longed to pilot such a machine. Wang Ning sat on the ground. He muttered, "Could this be real? No, it's fake." How could he afford a real mech? Even Americans can't build one, let alone us in Xia country. The manor was stunned by the giant mech, everyone forgetting the birthday banquet. Elder Hua coughed, tugged Elder Wang, and they walked to the bewildered Wang Yixue. Outsiders see spectacle, insiders know the real deal. The mech's exterior was extraordinary. Little Yixue, be honest, where did you get this mech? Wang Yixue blinked, dazed. Grandpa Hua, if I told you I spent 3 million to hire a welder to put this together, would you think I was lying? Silly girl, lying isn't what good kids do. Grandpa Hua's words were gentle, but his brows furrowed. Grandpa Hua, I knew you wouldn't believe me. Wang Yixue pouted, unsure how to explain. Xiao Yixue, are you saying that the Master Mao who called you in the villa was the one who welded this? Grandpa Wang knew his granddaughter never lied. Wang Yixue nodded, yes, her name is Mao Tao, she's a top-level welder. Upon hearing this, Old Wang and Old Hua exchanged a glance, both seeing deep confusion. This mech clearly surpassed ordinary models, many aspects followed aerodynamic principles, and its back's vector thrusters resembled the F-119 engine used by Americans. In some respects, it was even more advanced than the F-119. The railgun on its shoulder didn't look like a mere prop. As scientific veterans, the two elders could spot issues ordinary people wouldn't notice. More and more people gathered around the mech, including many servants and banquet chefs, all coming to join the excitement. After a lively discussion, everyone's attention focused on the cockpit area at the mech's chest. Everyone pointed and gestured at the cockpit with anticipation, and eventually, someone started egging others on to get inside. Wang Ning, who hadn't spoken for a while, was helped up by a servant and calmed her inner shock. Today, attention had been stolen by the mech that Wang Yixue had given as a birthday gift. She finally understood this giant mech model must have been prepared by Yixue long ago, and her earlier expression was an act. As soon as the cockpit opens, people will be disappointed by its shabbiness. Wang Ning subtly smiled, telling everyone, don't be impatient. Yixue will open the cockpit for you, she won't let you down. She then looked at Wang Yixue, right, Yixue? With someone leading, calls for Yixue to open the cockpit grew louder. Wang Yixue had no choice but to try, though she expected guests to be disappointed. Master Mao said the mech was app-controlled, so she opened her phone, found the installation package you sent, and installed it with a tap. Wang Yixue tapped to run the program and the interface unfolded. Mechanical locking sounds came from inside the mech, startling everyone, making them take 2 steps back. Wang Ning sneered, they even installed sound effects, really going out to show off. Yixue, be careful. Old Wang sensed something was off. The sound of mechanical connections and physical locks was similar to what he'd heard when researching exoskeleton armor. Wang Yixue slid her finger across the interface and tapped the start button. Suddenly, a notification sound exploded above everyone's heads. The silent mech's eyes lit up with a red glow. A mechanical eagle emerged from inside the mech, announcing, driver authorization confirmed. Cold blood infusion complete. Mini hydrogen engine startup complete. Phased array situational awareness system startup complete. Xiangtian number 1 mech initial startup successful. Scanning pilot. The mech's eyes cast down a beam of red light, confirming Wang Yixue's position. Immediately after, the mech's arm lifted her up and slowly raised her to test level. Because Wang Yixue was so nervous, her phone accidentally slipped from her hand and fell to the ground. Before she could react, she was already delivered into the cockpit. After the hatch closed, Wang Yixue held a holographic helmet in her hands. Still shaken, she sat in the pilot's seat, staring blankly at the unfamiliar controls and console in front of her. Even her breathing became shaky, it was just so realistic. This money was definitely well spent. When the cockpit opened just now, many people caught a glimpse of the interior structure. Wang Ning was the first to be stunned. How could it be this realistic? If the mech's exterior design was already impressive enough, then the cockpit's interior was even more sci-fi, completely beyond his imagination. The crowd, 100 strong, was so excited they were practically buzzing with energy, shouting and cheering as if they'd been injected with adrenaline. The atmosphere was electric. Wang Ning looked so grim water could drip from his face. He gritted his teeth and muttered, I don't believe you can actually fly this. At this moment, Wang Yixue put on the holographic helmet. Instantly, the scene before her eyes changed, the obstructions outside the mech became transparent, and translucent operational prompts appeared in her view. Unity between human and machine filled her, and her heart pounded with excitement. The sounds from outside were picked up by the mech sensors and transmitted to Wang Yixue's ears. In this heated atmosphere, Wang Yixue couldn't help but get excited. There was no turning back. Her trembling hand slowly reached for the control stick. Meanwhile, Old Wang picked up the phone Wang Yixue had dropped and discovered its screen was connected to a cockpit camera. It could even switch to an external camera, and in the lower right corner, real-time mech data was displayed. They could also activate the voice button to talk to Wang Yixue. Old Wang, the chatterbox, and the others all turned their attention to the phone screen. By the time old Wang figured out the phone's functions, Wang Yixue had already gripped the control stick tightly, then her thumb suddenly pressed hard on the ascent button. With a click, the task was complete. Wang Yi smiled wistfully, waved at the cockpit camera, and flashed a sweet grin. He didn't believe this mech could actually fly. What they'd achieved was impressive enough. Just experiencing such a realistic mech piloting simulation made him satisfied. Hearing Wang Yixue announce the mission was over, everyone outside felt unsatisfied, wishing it lasted longer, and envious that Wang Yixue got to enter the cockpit and experience it firsthand. Even though everyone hoped the mech could really take off, reason told them it was impossible. Suddenly, Wang Yang sneered, "I knew it wouldn't work. What kind of high-tech stuff could Yixue possibly come up with? It's just a hunk of metal with speakers, useless junk." No one responded to him, people just drifted away in small groups. Wang Tianhao quickly announced that the mech experience was over and the birthday banquet would begin. But before he could finish speaking, a shrill alarm suddenly blared in everyone's ears. "Warning, warning! The mech is about to enter takeoff mode. Bystanders are requested to move away immediately." The piercing alarm echoed throughout the estate. Old Wang clenched his fist. Reason told him that, although the mech looked realistic, it was just a prop, there was no way it could fly. But with a loud bang, a shockwave spread rapidly outward from the mech. Several intricate vector thrusters on the machine opened, simultaneously blasting out streams of pink flames. The ground rumbled and trembled. Old Wang realized something was wrong. He tapped the microphone button on his phone and shouted, "Yixue, what's going on?" "Grandpa, he's about to fly." Wang Yixue's voice trembled, like a frightened fawn, lost and helpless. Old Wang's heart skipped a beat, his eyes filled with gravity. Their key research project was exoskeleton armor, which at best could help soldiers carry heavy loads or perform simple tasks. It couldn't even run, let alone fly. Not even the latest US technology could achieve that. How could a Han Palace possibly create a mech that can fly? As the flames from the mech's engine nozzle grew even fiercer, Old Wang and Old Hua could no longer remain calm. Their years of experience told them that this mech was really about to take off. They had to get away immediately. Old Wang shouted an order to the security soldiers, "Organize everyone to evacuate Yanding Manor at once and seal off the entire Yunlai Mountain." There wasn't much time left. Under the organization of the security soldiers, everyone evacuated in an orderly fashion by car. Old Wang held his phone tightly, his expression extremely grave. He looked at the screen worriedly. "Yixue, can we stop it?" "Grandpa, I don't know." Countdown started. In the cockpit, Wang Yixue panicked. Shrill warnings tautened her nerves. Mech systems calibrated, weapons check complete. 3, 2, 1, Jiangtian 1, launch. With a bang, Yanding Manor shook violently. Those not evacuated heard a deafening blast. Engine flames instantly shifted from pink to brilliant blue. Wang Yixue felt a powerful force pressing her back into her seat. If not for the auxiliary breathing function in the holographic helmet, he might have passed out. Under questioning stares, the Jiangtian 1 mech erupted in fierce flames and shot into the sky. Countless evacuating people froze, looking up in unison, jaws hitting the ground in shock. Oh my god, that mech model actually took off. Who would believe this? People stood dumbfounded, muttering expletives, and even the usually calm elders were speechless. Old Wang, what do you make of this? I'm using my eyes, but damn, this is just too wild. Even Old Wang cursed, this was beyond their understanding. Old Hua thought, could it be Old Tian from the Eastern Theater showing off? Not likely, Old Wang shook his head. They racked their brains, unable to figure out where this mech came from. If you said Yixue just found a welder to put it together, they wouldn't believe it. The manpower, resources, and scientific know-how needed to build a mech that could take off were simply beyond measure. Looks like we'll have to go ask Wang Yixue after all. Just then, a deafening sonic boom exploded above the manor, the shockwave nearly tearing the sky apart. The guests who hadn't gone far were left with ringing ears from the blast, and the children started crying and wailing even louder. Wang Ning was so frightened he fell right onto his butt. The sonic boom made Old Wang's thin body jolt, and he blurted out in shock. The chatterbox's pupils also widened in terror. He was clearly scared out of his wits. After a brief moment of surprise, the two of them suddenly thought of something at the same time.
Enjoyed the laugh? Then hit that subscribe button now. Chino Tunes, where Chinese cartoon parodies get wild and hilarious.